to College Football Final, presented by Mazda.
Fantastic finishes on the first Saturday of October. Third overtime, SMU was down 30-9. Shane Buechele to James Prochet, and somehow he manages to stay in.
Officials called this out of bounds. They went back, took a look at it. One of the best catches you will see all day. Gets 1 foot down, catches it over the fender. Prochet giving SMU the win. They remain undefeated.
That is unbelievable. Undefeated, 6-0 for the first time since 1982. That amazing comeback and finish number one. What about Duke and Pitt? Fourth quarter, 44 seconds left. Kenny Pickett to Malik Carter.
Pitt blew a 26-3 lead. This was a sloppy game, 10 total turnovers. Kenny Pickett missed their last game with an injury, was huge down the stretch, and a big win for Pitt, their fifth straight against Duke, and a big win in that Coastal Division.
Another remarkable comeback, another remarkable finish, and our third and final one. Take a look at how Division II Ashland and Grand Valley State ended, and take a guess as to what team announcers these are. Listen.
Going to get it there, no doubt about it. What's going to happen now? That is caught for a touchdown. I don't believe it. 4 guys back there, they couldn't stop the play. I don't know who caught it. Oh, it's going to be Justin Davis. What a walk-off win for Ashland.
I don't know who caught it because I didn't study Ashland. I don't broadcast for Ashland normally.
Do final just like that. Just like
for the rest of the show?
I don't know who caught it.
Gentlemen, I will tell you this. If that's how October is going to get started, take off your jacket and stay a while, because that was a fantastic start to the first weekend in October. Guys, the marquee game, everybody talking about, Auburn and Florida in the Swamp. Top 10 matchup for the first time since 1997. I'm not programmed to do the highlight that way. We're going to have fun. Swamp. Top 10 SEC teams. Bo Nix. Could he get another one done? Late first quarter, Florida leads 7-6. And Kyle Trask, he ended up being the big story. Yeah, Kyle Trask was under tremendous duress all game long, though. Here, Marlon Davidson coming off the back end, getting the strip sack and fumble. And the big fella. Brown, scoop and score. Come on, go. Turf monster. No. That'd have been big, because this game had virtual lock implications for Joey. 2 plays later, 2nd and 14. Nix throw picked off by Sean Davis.
Bo Nix looked like a freshman in this game. He's coming off his best game this season against Mississippi State. Needed to take another step, but he's down in the swamp. The crowd is crazy. Florida's defense played well. Have another look at the interception. Amazing one-handed grab. I haven't seen top plays yet. Maybe that has top plays implications. Might see that again. Just a few later. What about Trask moving the ball? Kyle Trask, a lot of adversity in this game. 3 fumbles. He injured his knee, would return, but when he was given time, threw 2 touchdown passes. This one to Josh Hamm. All right, so here we go. Auburn needs a little something to get going, down 17-13. Nix, if he puts this on Seth Williams, it's a touchdown. Yeah, and I needed Auburn to get something going. As you mentioned, this is virtual locks on this. 2.5-point favorite. We need this ball to get in the end zone. Seth Williams reached out, catches it. Now they're in the red zone. Just finish it. But again, Nix missing throws. Yeah, and right before this play, missed an open Seth Williams for a touchdown on a slant. This time stares it down. And Gus Malzahn, as you can see, just not happy. I mean, he called a drive there. They had an opportunity to take the lead. They couldn't get it done. And then it was kind of a body blow type game. And here, LaMichael Pirine just breaks it right over. You see Florida with all the receivers on one side. The defense has shifted that way. LaMichael Pirine, 130 yards rushing in this game. 88 of them right here, and this puts the game away. Longest run since Emmitt Smith in 1988. Florida wins, and Pirine's still holding on to not being recruited by Auburn.
I just felt like they weren't very interested in me at the time. They probably thought I was a little too slow, as everybody know. That was one reason, but I showed them today. So it was just a good game, man.
So how sweet was that to break the long one?
Almost brought tears to my eyes. Just a big-time atmosphere, big-time crowd, and I'm glad I was able to make that big-time play.
Defense played outstanding, had 4 turnovers. Gave the offensive ball some short fields. We just didn't get it done offensively. And that starts with me. I got to do a better job preparing our guys and have our guys ready.
This is what the Swamp's going to be like in the future, not the Swamp of old. This is the Swamp.
LSU next week. What can you guys take away from a big win like this headed into that one?
That it just makes next week even bigger. Best part about being 6-0, we get a chance to go 7-0 next week.
All right, so in his first 5 seasons as a head coach, Dan Mullen went 0-10 against AP top 10 teams. But in the college football playoff era, Mullen has 7 wins over top 10 opponents, including 3 in his first 2 seasons in Florida. The only other coaches with more such wins have national titles: Saban, Meyer, Sweeney. Joey, what did you see out of Nix?
Yeah, and I mentioned Bo Nix looked like a freshman in this game, and this was after the long pass to Seth Williams gets him to the red zone. This is an easy slant. You can see Malzahn is losing his mind. You don't get many throws in the red zone more open and easier to hit than this. Bo Nix just has to step into the throw. He's leaning back. He cuts it short. Safety standing in the middle of the field. This is who Bo Nix should be reading on this play. It's a post. Has to see this safety. It's a turnover. They're only down 4 points at this stage. They're in the red zone. It's been a tough day. He threw 3 interceptions, and so all they needed was a play. You can't do this on 3rd and 8 in the 4th quarter, down 4 points. This basically puts the game away.
All right, so some numbers to back it up. He completed 70% of his passes when the ball was thrown within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, but that dropped to 24% with passes downfield. That also includes all 3 of his interceptions on Saturday. He had just 2 picks in his first 5 games. Coming into this one, looked very much of the freshman, as we alluded to a minute ago. What about prime time at the shoe? Ohio State, Michigan State. You guys like these alternate uniforms?
I didn't know they were coming out in these all black.
Bring them. I love them. First quarter, Michigan State, second offensive play. You cannot give Ohio State extra.
This was a big story. Turnovers early for Michigan State's offense. Here, Malik Harrison picks it up for Ohio State, returns it back deep into Michigan State territory, but they would end up missing a field goal. So good sudden change defense by Sparty.
Yeah, so Michigan State gets the ball back. Then Lewerke on the pitch. Elijah Collins mishandles it. They get another turnover.
Lewerke leads the Big Ten in passing. Clearly not an option quarterback. At this stage, Michigan State 4 plays, 2 turnovers.
Not a good start for them. So Michigan State's defense on Ohio State just 16 yards in the first quarter. Then they start picking it up a little bit. Justin Fields and Benjamin Victor.
Love the play call and the design by Ryan Day and the acting job by Justin Fields, making Michigan State think he's keeping the football. Ben Victor down the sidelines. They would review this. It would stand as a 60-yard touchdown and a big explosive play early for the Buckeyes.
I love the effort out of Victor. Then later in the second, J.K. Dobbins, he goes right up the gut.
Ohio State 300 yards, 24 points in the second quarter. J.K. Dobbins his second straight 170-yard rushing game.
And the Buckeyes roll 34-10. Michigan State's defense entered Saturday allowing just 254 yards per game, a little bit of a gash. Buckeyes 323 rushing yards, the second most against the Spartans since they hired Mark D'Antonio back in 2007. And Ohio State also has the most, which came 2 seasons ago. Michigan State had allowed less than 60 yards per game on the ground coming in, which was top 5 in all of FBS. And for that Ohio State offense, they were just happy to shake off the rust after the first quarter.
We were killing ourselves in the first quarter and a half, so we fixed our mistakes and we got it rolling.
I think we showed flashes, but we weren't consistent throughout the whole game on the offensive side of the ball. So if we just get better at that and just being more consistent, I think we'll definitely be one of the best offenses in the country.
It's not hyperbole to say Michigan's season was on the line at the Big House Saturday, hosting Iowa, and there wasn't much offense. This was really it. Shea Patterson and Nico Collins.
Yeah, 51-yard throw. It's a great catch by Nico Collins, but only 147 passing yards for Shea Patterson, easily his lowest total on the season.
So Collins fights through the coverage. A couple plays later, Zach Charbonnet, 2-yard line. Michigan up 10-0. That's 70 yards on that drive. They had 175 the rest of the game. As we said, no offense, quite a bit of defense. Michigan's defense stepped up, and they needed to.
They really did, and they had something to prove in this game. Nate Stanley had 0 turnovers before this game, had a rough one today. He was pressured all day long. You can see the Michigan defense getting to him. They sacked him 8 times.
And just 1 turnover on the season for Iowa, and they just could never get it going.
Yeah, great job in man-to-man coverage on the back end. Hill had just been beaten on a go route there, coming up with a pick. 4 takeaways for the Wolverines.
And guys, despite all of that, they still had an opportunity late in this game, and Stanley and the Iowa offense could never execute. There were 4 penalties on a big drive, and this ended up being that kind of
play. That's not the way you draw it up. Senior quarterback Nate Stanley did not have his best day. They could never get offense going, and this is the way it ends.
That
sums up the day.
That was a microcosm for both teams. Pressure for Michigan, sloppy for Iowa. They get the win 10-3, and Harbaugh loved that much improved defense.
Don, during the week, he said he might jump off a tall building if some of those isolation plays worked, because they really thought they had him, and really felt the players had a great week of practice and knew exactly what to do, how to do it, and did it with great intensity and great effort. And to hold a team to 1 yard rushing, I mean, that's a masterpiece.
All right, so most of what can be said about Michigan's win on Saturdays was reserved for that one side of the ball, that defense. Wolverines held Iowa to 1 rushing yard, sacked Nate Stanley 8 times, forced 4 Hawkeye turnovers, marks that are either the best or tied for the best in the Jim Harbaugh era. So, Jesse, show us how it went down.
After they gave up 359 rushing yards against Wisconsin, this defense was embarrassed, and they needed to make a statement, and they did it with 4 takeaways. We know Don Brown loves to play man-to-man coverage. It's not just corners, but safeties reading the quarterback's eyes. 4 takeaways. And then when you only give up 1 rushing yard, you don't respect the run anymore. You get them in second, third, and long situations. You can pin your ears back, beat blockers one-on-one, play with your eyes, and get after Nate Stanley. Don Brown dialed up pressures. They covered up the linemen from Iowa's front, and they were able to create gaps and shoot those gaps with 8 sacks. Now, we know Michigan's offense continues to struggle, but if the defense can play like this, they can survive big games coming up against Penn State and Notre Dame. They need this defense to continue to play at this level. This is what we expected.
So we had the fantastic comebacks. We had 3 ranked matchups, big games across the country. I'm sitting next to a quarterback and receiver. You guys probably have takeaways on all the offenses today, right, Joey? Biggest takeaway?
Yeah, it was defense.
Oh.
The Michigan defense and the way they played. Now, we've said all the numbers. They held Iowa to 1 rushing yard, but the way they did it, Nate Stanley had negative 65 rushing yards because of the 8 sacks. So when we watched this Michigan team play against Wisconsin, Wisconsin was too physical. They ran them over. They embarrassed them. So then the question was, what does this Michigan defense do next? They're going against another physical team in Iowa who runs it downhill, who plays with tight ends, and they came in and they were physical. They stood up in this game, and this is the Michigan defense we expected to see, making opposing quarterbacks confused. Iowa only got to the red zone 1 time today, scored 3 points. Good teams go to the locker room with a lead, and they say, if our defense holds this lead, we win. Michigan's defense shut them down. Huge win moving forward. Big games coming up.
And I'll tell you that if Michigan's defense plays at this level, that's going to be their calling card throughout the rest of the season. And another defense, because we build Florida-Auburn as a defensive battle.
Yeah.
And Florida clearly came out.
And you saw the total team speed of Florida's defense. That's really been their calling card and identity now for years on that side of the football. And whether it's the D-line led by John Grenard getting upfield and corralling Bo Nix, or linebackers going sideline to sideline, or DBs breaking on passes, that speed took Auburn out of their game plan. You didn't see a lot of jet sweeps or a lot of reverses or Gus Malzahn moving the pocket for Bo Nix. It was the speed of Florida's defense that took that game over. Now, it helped getting healthy in the secondary. C.J. Henderson at corner was back. Sean Davis was back. That's big. Now, moving ahead and looking ahead to LSU on the road next week, they're also hoping to get one of their better pass rushers, Jabari Zuniga, back. If you're going to slow down Joe Burrow in that passing attack and an offense that's put up 273 yards, you better have all hands on deck, and it looks like the Gators are going to have that.
Yeah, wasn't that trick-or-treat eye candy for Auburn on Saturday? They just weren't able to get it done.
Put them in a phone booth, and they beat them
and
up.
Florida College game days head to Baton Rouge. It's going to be quiet atmosphere out there for that one. You guys want to get the DeLorean and go back to 1982, 86, the old Pony Express? I'm telling you what, we got shoulder pads, neck rolls, and Pony Express. And we've got Heisman candidates running and throwing wild on Saturday. We are off and running. This is College Football Final.
Ball Final is presented by Mazda. Feel alive.
Jesse, Joey, and Matt, what might be the game of the day? SMU, undefeated, ranked 24th in the country. Tulsa just scored a touchdown, okay? This is their ensuing kickoff.
Onside kick?
No.
No, it's not onside.
No, it's a pooch kick.
You get it. No, you take it. No, it's going to go out of bounds.
What are you doing?
Touchdown.
That's a Tulsa touchdown.
I told you onside kick.
No, it was just
That was the plan.
Joey, was a lob wedge.
That's the way they drew it up.
And it checked up right for Tulsa in the end zone. 16-6 Tulsa. SMU at one point was down 30-9, looking to come back. Down 30-16. Shane Buechele to James Prochet.
Shane Buechele, the Texas transfer and leading passer in the American Conference, started lighting it up, and his go-to guy was Prochet.
Prochet had a day. SMU down a touchdown now. Just over a minute to play, 4th and 2. Converted Davier Jones.
They were down 21 points in the 4th quarter.
That's right.
Matt, you turned the TV off.
That's right.
Watching it, it was over. SMU first loss of the season,
Kicked off the slippers. Game would go to overtime, though, so both teams score. Tulsa can win with this field goal. College kickers.
And the kicker is down.
We go to a third overtime. In the third overtime, again, down 30-9 in the 4th quarter. Perfect season on the line. Bouchel to Prochet.
And you're watching this live, and it's ruled out of bounds. You see the field judge there. He's pushing him out.
Get it down. Get a foot down.
They would look at it again. Clearly, that left foot gets down in bounds, and that is a tutty.
All right, guys, here's how it sounded when they made the review.
After further review, receiver possessed the ball, got a foot down in bounds, maintain control, through the ground, touchdown, ball game's over.
Joey lived in Dallas. I lived in Dallas. Jesse partied in Dallas. We know how fun that's going to be for Sonny Dykes and the crew.
It's a bit of an emotional roller coaster. Got to give our guys credit for hanging in there. Got down 21. We really struggled most of the night to do much offensively, but they just kept playing. We made some plays. We were pretty opportunistic and just ball bounced our way at the end.
What's it like to be a part of this as fans rush the field and you guys enjoy an undefeated season so far?
Yeah, it's good for our players. I'm really happy for these guys. They've worked hard. And, we showed a lot of spirit tonight just hanging in there and figuring out a way to get it done. So proud of these guys.
Chris Budden, great stuff. You guys want Matt stat? According to ESPN's win probability, SMU had just a 1.7% chance to win the game when they trailed by 21 entering the 4th quarter.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There was a 1.7% chance, but you know what the win probability was at the end? 100. Instead, the Buns earned their first win as a ranked team since 1986. All right, so one Texas team, SMU, had a thrilling ending. Texas, not so much drama, trying not to look ahead to Oklahoma. Taking on West Virginia, Sam Ehlinger to John Burt ties it.
WVU was up 7-0 in this game as Texas, coming off of a bye week, was a little sluggish early.
And we see this with Ehlinger. He loves using his legs.
He does, but they've limited the amount of designed runs this year. Ehlinger's been doing it more on scrambles, and Texas ran for 216 yards against the Mountaineer defense.
So that gives him a 7-point lead. What about the defense forcing turnovers? Austin Kendall, he had a lot of turnovers on Saturday.
Austin Kendall threw for 367. But it was the 4 interceptions that hurt WVU. This is one of the better defensive plays you'll see all day. The receiver goes up to get this ball, but as you can see, the fight for this ball, Deshaun Jameson rolls over, ball in his hands, another turnover for WVU.
When we were watching the game, we said either way that play was going to be spectacular. I think Kendall steps back, much of the same.
Yeah, this secondary has been decimated by injuries. One of those guys was B.J. Foster right there, back in the lineup, makes a play, and that's big.
42-31, here's Sam Ehlinger.
We focus 1-0 every day. We're continuing to get better. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to learn and get better. So I'm looking forward to a great week of preparation and then playing and arguably the best rivalry game in college football.
I would agree. It is one of the best rivalries in college football. I don't know that it's top, but it's something else. Dallas State Fair, Texas State Fair. Look at this. Oklahoma and Kansas. This before the game.
Yellow card.
What did we think of that? Carter Stanley early on here. Dalen Charlo.
Upset alert. Perfect ball down there. Hey, I don't know why you're laughing. Kansas is up 7-0. Perfect touchdown. Look out, OU.
That was a 9-play, 98-yard drive, and look at him get his feet down in bounds as well. You can't do better than that.
So Kansas
Watch
up
out.
7-0.
Here they come. Here they come.
Sleepy kickoff, delayed because of weather. Who knows what could happen? Jalen Hurts was responsible for 17 touchdowns entering the day, tied at 7. He's now responsible for more.
Yeah, so they're down 7-0, and you blink, and they score 42 unanswered points. Jalen Hurts, big reason.
Why take away the drama? It's
he throws the Nuggets in early, and then we got to find something else at the end. CeeDee Lamb, though, takes it in the flat. He scores out of the backfield.
13 different receivers caught a pass for Oklahoma in this game. No receiver over 2 catches.
And then Hurts runs the option. How about this fake?
And their offense is awful because they had 545 yards. That's the lowest output of the season. Lincoln Riley, what is wrong?
So you're saying Kansas
45-20 the final.
Watch out.
4th career game with 2 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns. Now, Oklahoma and Texas have met 113 times since 1900, so one more couldn't hurt, right? Next week, I bring us another edition to this great rivalry, the 41st time it's a ranked matchup. That's the second most played ranked matchup, trailing only Ohio State and Michigan. And watch out, Oklahoma. The last 3 times the Sooners have been undefeated coming in, they left with a loss. See if that trend holds up. What about LSU? They'll gear up for their game taking on Florida next week. Joe Burrow's been so good this season. Burrow here finds Derek Dillon.
You mentioned big matchup with Florida next week. Can Utah State catch LSU slipping? Maybe looking ahead, Jess. You got to build up the
You're
drama.
all about the drama. Yeah, I like that. Okay.
Well, and then Burrow here, there's not much drama when you're going to throw it to Jamar Chase.
Well, no, yeah, and Jamar Chase coming off that 229 4-touchdown game against Vanderbilt. I think he got a helmet sticker for that. Burrow's got some pretty good guys to throw to.
And here's another one, too, up 28-6. Now finds Justin Jefferson.
Burrow, 5 touchdown passes in this game. The 3rd time he's done it this season. He had 0 all of last season.
Let's have another look here. The defender gets a little confused as to what Jefferson is and what he's doing.
Route. Yeah, remember Jefferson, he missed that Vanderbilt game with an injury, so now he's getting healthy, which makes them even more dangerous. Opens up the lane. 273 points now for LSU through the first 5 games. Yeah, that's an SEC record.
They've scored 40 points in all 5 games. Burrow with 4 games with 4 passing touchdowns. That breaks a school record. Matt Mock previously held it. If you had that in trivia, you won. So LSU now turns its attention to Florida next week, and this will be the 2nd time in an AP poll era that they are meeting with both 5-0 or better. LSU 5-0 and Florida 6-0 in 2015. LSU won that game 35-28. The matchup is going to be a battle of LSU's offense against Florida's defense. Tigers have scored 273 points this season, the most through a team's first 5 games in SEC history, and Coach O loves his quarterback.
No question, he's going to be just as PO'd as I am, and we don't want those things. We had some fumbles, we had some interceptions. We're not taking care of the football on offense like we did last year, so we got to go back to our drills and look at them. And obviously, Joe's going to be upset. He won't think he played very well. I think he did, and but that's going to keep him hungry for next week.
I love it. Just keep coaching them up no matter what. What about Wisconsin? I'm going to get rid of all the suspense here. This was all Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, welcome to the Jonathan Taylor Show. Moves into 3rd place all-time on the Wisconsin rushing list, passing Melvin Gordon in this game.
He did it, Bo. He did it on his feet, did it catch the ball.
Yeah, this is what I love. He's showing that he's a complete running back. This is his 4th receiving touchdown on the year.
Then 14.5 to go. Wisconsin's Kent State 48-yard line. Taylor, great cutback here.
Nice cutback. Offensive line going to work once again. Jack Cohn completing 80% of his balls on the season. That makes this Wisconsin offense tough to prepare for.
48-0. Here's Taylor on another record-setting day.
I mean, it's an honor. I mean, I talk to Melvin all the time, and, you know, he's one of the guys that I'm following. He set the standard, and I'm here just trying to raise the bar.
It's awesome. It never gets old. And you know, I know it, and we know it. The guys were talking on the sidelines. You know, it's he's special. And to be able to see it, it's pretty neat to do.
All right, so Taylor has 16 total touchdowns, the most by any FBS player in his team's first 5 games since Ricky Williams had 20 for Texas in his Heisman winning season in 1998. Speaking of the Heisman, Taylor's numbers are even better than Ron Dane's when he brought home the trophy.
But his neck roll doesn't look good.
No. He doesn't wear offensive lineman pads. Still ahead, it was a record book afternoon for Notre Dame. You see what I did there? And you love it.
Yeah, that was impressive.
And who's in? Speaking of impressive, whose touchscreen skills are going to be better? The rankings are coming when college football final continues.
Introducing Football Final, presented by Mazda.
Let's continue our travel around the country. Head to Knoxville, Georgia, and Tennessee. First quarter, no score. DeAndre Swift up the gut.
Big night for DeAndre Swift. Over 70 rushing yards and over 70 receiving yards.
What about Brian Maurer, the true freshman, gets the start for Tennessee? And look, he gave this offense a little bit of life, Joey.
He really did. He threw for 259 yards in this game. The crowd was outstanding. We're talking about a Tennessee team that is 1-3, but you'd have thought they were 3-1.
I love it. Jared Pruitt's like, he's probably not ready to play, but whatever.
Yeah, and they weren't protecting him with short throws. Here fitting in a 12-yard pass to Juwan Jennings Jennings, letting him take shots downfield.
Tennessee had the lead again, 14-10, but Jake Fromm and Georgia would settle down.
So calm and cool in the pocket, 24 of 29, 288, 2 touchdowns for Fromm.
Yeah, just a surgeon again on Saturday night. This the play of the game, gentlemen.
Who gets it worse? Howard? You get sacked by Eric Stokes.
Look out,
picks it up.
official.
Or the referee.
Scoop and score.
That's 15 for high-low on the referee. Anyways, Georgia rolls. It's a long TD return, 60 yards, 43-14 dog.
Georgia's now won 14 of the last 20 against Tennessee. Oregon and California, Devin Modster started for Cal, fights Christopher Brown Jr.
Chase Garbers, their starting quarterback, injured last game. Modster steps in, though, and gets things rolling early for Cal.
Little sleepy for Oregon, and then Justin Herbert finds Jacob Breland.
Yeah, Herbert threw his first pick in 176 attempts in the first quarter, but then he would get it going.
Cyrus Habibi Lakio punches it in from a yard out. Oregon would take the lead back. Fourth quarter, a little bit of separation. Herbert finds Jalen Red.
Yeah, Oregon would like to forget the first half. They had 3 turnovers, didn't get any points, but 17 in the second half. Defense shut out Cal the rest of the way.
Herbert has now thrown a TD pass in 33 consecutive games. Notre Dame hosting Bowling Green. This was the Ian Book show for as long as he played.
Yeah, 16 of 25 touchdown passes, all in the first half. This one to his tight end, Tommy Tremble.
And that 5 touchdown passes in the first half, a Notre Dame record. This one to Chase Claypool.
Yeah, this Notre Dame offense is starting to look like the offense we saw last year. They're running it well. Tony Jones had 7 carries for 102 yards. And I already mentioned Ian Book, outstanding today.
And the question with Notre Dame, could they stretch the field? We saw Javon McKinley here. First Notre Dame with 5 touchdown passes and a half. The quarterback, Ian Book, in their first shutout since 2014, 52-0 the final. And now let's take a look at who you guys think could be in the college football playoff with the Capital One fan vote.
All right, Matt, week 6, we had 3 matchups of ranked teams. Yeah. So I don't know, Joey. We'll see if that maybe shakes up our top 5 with respect to Capital One fan vote. Who's in? We'll start with you, Joey, at number 5.
Let me get it going. How about Ohio State? 16 yards in the first quarter, 300 yards, 24 points in the second quarter, put the game away.
Yeah, they score super fast. Okay, I got LSU at number 5 and 271 points. It's an SEC record through 5 games. Joe Burrow, that passing game has been amazing. Defense has been a little bit inconsistent. They gave up 38 points this year to Vanderbilt and Texas. They're injured on that side of the football. I think also their win against Texas has lost some luster for me, just having watched Texas struggle on defense a little bit this season. I got LSU right now at 5.
You got it 4.
Okay, 4. I'm moving Ohio State up to number 4. And I'm seeing a complete team. So impressed with Justin Fields, so impressed with the defense. But the way they ran the football against a good Michigan State defense for over 300 yards, there's so many ways this team can beat you. I also think Cincinnati beating UCF actually helps their strength of schedule. I got them at 4.
I'm going to go Georgia at number 4. The game against Tennessee was 14-10 at one point. Then Georgia scores the next 33 points to put the game away. Looked like it's going to be close. Jake Fromm, efficient once again.
No doubt.
He looks like the quarterback that you would want leading your team if you're trying to get to the playoff.
Okay, what do you got at number 3?
I'm going to go with LSU.
You found them.
Yeah, it was just a tune-up game. Once again, Joe Burrow, 5 touchdowns passing. He's been outstanding. They've scored over 40 points in every game this season. Big game with Florida. We will see what LSU is made of.
All right, I got Georgia at number 3 myself. I love what you said about Jake Fromm. It's so funny, right? In college football now, there's so many true freshmen playing quarterback and transfers, but he's a guy that's been there 3 years. He's been tested. He shows up in big games. DeAndre Swift's fantastic. Their win against Notre Dame is looking better and better to me. Absolutely. Seeing Notre Dame the last couple of weeks, so I got the Bulldogs at 3.
I agree, but you got it 2.
I'm going to stick with what I had last week. Clemson, again, not the same dominant team we saw in the second half of last year, but I know what they can be.
Absolutely.
Based on what I saw last year as well. I think of all my top 5 teams, Clemson has the best shot of reaching the college football playoff.
And my 2 and 1 are not going to change. They had bye weeks. Interesting thing about Clemson, having a bye week, they didn't look really good against North Carolina, and that's why people bumped them down to 2. I want to see after a bye week, do they come out sharp, looking like the Clemson team we expected to see? Will Trevor Lawrence clean up the play?
Yeah, I got Alabama at number 1 still. We know about Tua, 23 TDs, no picks, best receiving corps in the entire country. Their defense a little bit banged up injury-wise. They got to get healthy. Their toughest games still remain or still out ahead of them. So here we go.
I'm sure Matt agrees with my top 5.
Or maybe mine over here. Good news is Joey found where the LSU button was this time, Matt.
Well, he couldn't find the Ohio State one at the beginning. More ranked games coming up next weekend in addition to the Red River rivalry and showdown in Death Valley. We discussed earlier Alabama's in College Station. USC Notre Dame renew their rivalry. And Penn State gets its chance to boost its resume at Iowa. And don't forget to give your Capital One fan votes on SportsCenter's Twitter handle on Monday. Speaking of Penn State, they were hosting Purdue on Saturday. 5.5 first quarter, second and 11. Sean Clifford drops one to Jahan Dotson.
Yeah, this Penn State offense has a lot of dangerous receivers. When the football is in their hands, they can make people miss and they can scoot. Not just Dotson, but of course KJ Hamler as well. Explosive passing game.
Penn State's looked good this season. Now, on the other side of this, everybody was banged up for Purdue. Jack Plummer to Bryson Hopkins.
Yeah, this Purdue offense is different without Rondale Moore, who went down with an injury. But this Penn State defense, 10 sacks today, holding Purdue to 104 total yards.
Why was that important? They're the only FBS school that has not allowed any points in the first quarter. Second half, took them a little bit, but they finally got it going again. Another touchdown pass for Clifford. 35-7 the final. Penn State. One touchdown in the second half. Doesn't matter. They stay unbeaten. Speaking of unbeaten, some other teams across the country have yet to lose a game. We'll check in on the rest of the undefeateds and who is the best to wear number 10 in college football history. We debate and give our picks coming up on College Football Final. Oklahoma State ranked, no layup in West Texas, taking on Texas Tech. Second quarter, Jet Duffy to Keyshawn Carter.
It's been a couple weeks now that Jet Duffy's taken over for the injured Alan Bowman at quarterback, and Duffy was outstanding. 424 passing yards, 4 TDs, a little bit of a bobble here by Carter before he secures the catch, and Texas Tech takes a 20-0 lead.
Yeah, he secured it nonetheless. Then Duffy finds T.J. Vasher back in the end zone.
T.J. Vasher had a big one, 5 catches, 110 yards. Look at this ball to the back of the end zone. You can't throw it much better than this. Double coverage, and then how about the hands? Lay out, get it. Get both feet down. Only need one, but get them both in there.
Just all kinds of virtual lock implications here. Chuba Hubbard takes it in for the touchdown.
He came into the game leading the nation in rushing yards, 156 and 3 TDs in this one.
So it sets up an onside kick, and it bounces. Oh, you get
it. Scoop and score. Okay.
All right.
Oklahoma State will take that.
Yes, they'll have it. So Spencer Sanders finds Tylan Wallace for the touchdown, pokes within 10.
Spencer Sanders had a rough one, throwing 3 interceptions in this game, but they're back in this game.
Can you do it again?
You can do it again.
No, you can't.
Here's the story. Texas Tech's defense, they gave up 83 points their last 2 games, created 4 takeaways. When's the last time you said Texas Tech good defense?
Well, just today.
You did. That's why Cliff Kingsbury's no longer there and Matt Wells is. Pitt at Duke. This one was wild. Kenny Pickett intercepted by Edgar Serenord. Pitt was up 26-3. A few plays later, Harris up the middle. Duke down just 2 now after the 2-point conversion. So Duke gets the ball back. Harris is pass incomplete. Hits Harris forward, flags for targeting.
Yeah, it's a tough game for Pitt. They had 15 penalties in this game, including this targeting hit. It's to the head. They take a look at it. Pitt turned the ball over 4 times on top of their 15 penalties. He's a little upset.
Fired up. Then Harris finds Deion Jackson, 44-yard touchdown. Duke comes back.
It was tough sledding for Harris, throwing the ball against one of the best pass rushers in the country, but he did have 2 rushing touchdowns, Harris.
All right, so Pickett then finds Malik Carter. Give Pitt credit because they blew the lead and they came back to get the win. 33-30, the final. This game was wild. Virginia Tech and Miami. N'Kosi Perry in. Jeff Thomas, 13-yard touchdown.
And it was the 4 turnovers in the first quarter, giving Virginia Tech a 28-0 lead. Thought this game was over.
Yeah, it was 28-7 at the half. We're thinking, all right.
Elliott.
Yeah, cruise control. Then DJ Dallas breaks multiple tackles, and all of a sudden, we're tied at 35 after the missed extra point. Miami went for 2, by the way, and they just booted all of it because they missed the extra point. So a minute to go. First and goal for the 3 of Virginia Tech. Deshaun McClease comes back and takes the handoff.
Yeah, nice run by McClease, but really the story was Hendon Hooker at quarterback getting his first start, 3 touchdown passes, and he led his offense with 76 yards rushing.
All right, so there's the touchdown. 5 seconds to go. Perry's pass. Incomplete for Brevin Jordan as time expires. But they actually added 1 second on the clock.
Check the clock. 1 second left.
Right. Come on.
Let's do it again.
That's triple cuss.
The wrong.
That was anticlimactic. They got the second back, couldn't make most of it. 42-35, Virginia Tech hangs on. You guys want to talk about row the boat?
Let's row the boat.
You know what row the boat is? Undefeated. Great pass there, Tanner Morgan. Minnesota up 23-10. Then Morgan this time to Brevin span forward.
Nice job on these throws here by Morgan, but more importantly, Row the Boat ran the ball. 332 rushing yards in this one against Illinois. PJ Fleck got his team undefeated.
How about that? 40-17 the final. I'm also going to brag on Matt Rule at Baylor taking on Kansas State. They were on the road for this one, and Baylor continues to win football games. Charlie Brewer to Tyquan Thornton.
No one in the country realizes Baylor's undefeated right now. They make some noise in the Big 12. I like Baylor.
John Lovett, 13-yard TD.
He had a big day, not just this run, also had a 46-yarder in the game, so a lot of balance from Baylor's offense.
Rule and Baylor doing it the right way. They stay unbeaten on the road. Bohannon keeps it. 31-12 the final. What a great story brewing in Waco for Rule and the Baylor Bears. All right, as we celebrate college football's 150th anniversary, you're counting down the weeks in college football final. Started at 15, down to 10.
Already at 10.
The best players to ever wear the number 10 in college football. Joey, we're going to start with you.
I'm going Derrick Brooks. He's a teammate of mine in Tampa Bay. A better human off the field than he is on the field, but he's an incredible player. 2-time consensus All-American, 3-time All-ACC. When you talk about athletic linebackers, there may not be a guy quicker than Derrick Brooks. Hit me one time. I've taken some hits in the NFL. Derrick Brooks caught me on a slant, bent my face mask. I had to leave the game.
I believe it.
I'm going to go with Vince Young. You guys remember back in 2005, this guy became the first FBS player ever to throw for over 3,000 yards and run for 1,000 yards. And it all culminated in one of the greatest games in college football history, I think, in the Rose Bowl where they beat USC. And in that game, that was probably the single greatest individual performance I'd ever seen in college football.
Just an amazing player. I'm going with number 10, Troy Smith out of Ohio State. He took on the Heisman, Walter Camp, and Big Ten MVP in 2006. Most importantly, he beat Michigan 3 times with 9 total touchdowns, making him the first Buckeyes quarterback to win 3 straight games against Michigan as a starter. So those are the best to wear number 10. Who's the best to wear number 9? Have a look at the list. You see someone you like?
I do.
You do?
I like it.
I'm going to text our producer in the commercial break and shotgun my pick.
All right. Jesse gets first pick a lot.
I don't think so.
No. All right, well, we're going to text her in the break to see who gets it. Speaking of top plays, is this a scoop and score for the big fella? No, that one wasn't. Was this one?
This one, maybe.
There was a lot of... No, get there. Plus, Khalil Tate had a big day. This tweet, what a win. Is there anyone balling out with purpose like Khalil Tate? Sensational today. 404 yards, 3 TDs. Big win for Arizona, big one on Monday Night Football, Browns and 49ers. Coverage begins 6 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Football Final, presented by Mazda.
All right, so you got SMU hanging out undefeated in the group of 5. Boise State hanging out in the group of 5, and it's just Hank Bachmeier's world. We're just living in it.
Yeah, some big questions. Who's the best group of 5 team? Boise State is looking like Hank Bachmeier, $2.99.
Look the way you say Bachmeier.
We would love Bachmeier. Boise State up 17-0 to Killian Butler. He got
but
in
it's
on
not
it.
just Bachmeier and Butler. The defense has been outstanding at Boise State. Only 220 yards given up in this game. Curtis Weaver and that defense, man, they are legit.
The Bachmeier's roll. What about Washington, Stanford? Jacob Eason and Cade Otten for the score. Huskies up 7-3. Then Davis Mills, a dart to Simi Fehoko.
This is the same Stanford team we watched lose 3 games in a row, including getting completely blown out by UCLA.
And how about this? Pac-12 playoff hopes.
Yeah, they got a new quarterback, though, and Davis Mills. He's doing a fantastic job. And already, again, 6 one-loss Pac-12 teams coming into this weekend. That changes now.
That not good. Washington out. Northwestern Nebraska went down to the end. Adrian Martinez gets injured on the play. We're tied at 10 in the third quarter. He would be out for the rest of the game. 50 seconds left in the fourth. Tied at 10. Noah Vidral's backup. Martinez's backup, brother. Another withdrawal by Wandale Robinson.
This is after Nebraska's defense got an interception getting them the ball back at the end.
And we didn't have a college kicker situation. Nebraska wins, and they love it. 13-10, the final. Troy and Missouri, late first half. Kelly Bryant hits Jalen Knox with a 6-yard touchdown. But look at this, Bryant down on the ground holding the
and you
play.
hate to see this because Kelly Bryant was having such a great season. 3 TD passes in this game. He would be replaced by Taylor Powell and go the rest of the way. We'll have to wait and see the extent of this injury. Missouri's defense has been great all season. Tough news, though, for the Clemson transfer.
42-10, the final. That not the story. Do a little, what were you thinking? What does this say about Kansas OU football?
Early arrival.
She's thinking winter is coming.
But she got the best seat.
She did. Weather delay.
Great views.
Sending us our Christmas sweaters.
Summer's over.
Making some mittens over there.
Yeah, I love it.
I bet that's alpaca.
Just bring your crochet
New
kit.
Zealand cashmere.
Oh, I'm here for this.
Oh, this is kind of sweet.
What's he doing?
He's getting it.
He's drumming upside down.
Is he upside down or is everybody else right side out?
That's, you know what? Life. Aaron Matthews, 2 receptions, 26 yards, and just feeling himself at the sideline.
What's in that?
You don't know if he's on beat or not.
You also don't know what's in that Gatorade bottle.
At all at this point.
Like what kind of syrup is he?
That's got to be a Taylor Swift song.
Purple Drank.
Come on.
That's Joey's thing.
You can do better.
Taylor Swift. I think the song is You Need to Calm Down. Helmet stickers. Who gets them tonight? I tell you what, it's a fun list. You'll have to see those and wait to see it. And then Louisville holds on to beat Boston College at home. And with the win, Scott Satterfield coached Louisville to its first ACC win since November of 2017. That's all you need to know. It's college football final.
Ball Final is presented by Mazda. Feel alive.
Week 5, Sunday NFL Countdown, 10 a.m. Eastern, ESPN and the ESPN app. Get yourself ready for an NFL Sunday. What a great finish we had between Air Force and Navy. Fourth quarter, Navy up 21-12. Donald Hammond III, 1-yard TD. Navy up 21-19.
Yeah, it was tough for Air Force to run the ball in this game, so Hammond had to throw it 26 times. He ended up throwing for over 200 yards as well.
5 minutes later, Navy still up. Air Force punches it in. They'd go for 2 and not get it. So Air Force up 25-21. 4th and 1.
And you know what they're doing. Perry's going to keep the ball. I think this game took about 1 hour and 30 minutes to complete.
Oh, it was so fun to watch,
run the football.
So
Triple
22 seconds left. Perry from 3 yards out, and Navy gets the win. 34-25. What a finish. Tulane and Army tied at 7. Corey Dauphine runs it in, 30-yard TD.
Dauphine had 75 yards rushing in this game. Tulane was making it look easy early on.
Later in the third, still tied at 21. Look, he's very excited about the touchdown. Darius Bradwell, 13-yard TD. Tulane takes the lead back.
You kind of come into this game thinking Army's going to win the rushing battle, but no, Tulane had 324 yards. They dominated this game on the ground.
So many lock implications here. Kelvin Hopkins Jr. runs it in.
Details.
Yeah, what are we doing? Fourth quarter, Tulane up 35-21. Cameron Carroll. Oh, you got to tap. You got to wrap him up.
Tulane had 525 yards of offense in this game, and just when we needed Army to make a stop, they just couldn't get one.
Tulane wins 42-33. So what happened on the virtual lock today, gentlemen? Oh, Palmer back under 500.
Yeah, so birthday for me today. A year older, not a year smarter.
Joey Galloway just racking up people's Venmo accounts. 7 and 4.
Be a 500 ball club.
All right. Just top play, shall we, from Saturday. Division II, Ashland, Grand Valley, Ashland quarterback Austin Brenner. We're going to call this a lot more exciting than it was called at the beginning of the show. A Hail Mary by Logan Bolin ball game.
Look at the defender standing there, just looking.
There's much disbelief as the play-by-play goes.
Here's our boy Derek Brown.
Yeah, he's 6'5", 320 pounds, showing you the big nimble. Auburn would lose, though, 24-13. But Derek Brown was the recipient of 2 fumble recoveries. He had an opportunity to do scores.
He really did. What about Johnny Langan firing it to Bo Melton? One-handed grab. Rutgers got a little creative.
Yeah, if you're Rutgers, you lost your coach. You just start calling flea flickers, pass it all around.
Chucking them up.
Hey, I would call every play I've ever imagined.
You would. You just start drawing them up in the dirt.
Why not?
Why not go?
Probably can't get fired at this point.
No, at this point, just go for it. Number 2, Najee Stevens-McKenzie picks off Jalen Hurts.
Okay, I'm not going to give this one away, guys. They were winning 7-0. And then here on this unbelievable interception on Jalen Hurts, Kansas had a shot.
Top play with Palmer earlier when they tie it up at 7 apiece.
Upset alert.
Upset alert.
He goes to score 42
unanswered.
We didn't even get to the 3rd touchdown yet. Then Isaiah Green fakes the handoff and throws it to Armani Levias. I don't even know what happened.
Okay. It's not high def.
Yeah.
It's not high def. It's not easy to see. I don't know what happened.
Scored a touchdown.
That was
made number 1 bounds.
Okay. Spin around, throw the spin.
Oh, I see it. I see the Randy Moss.
Give him the hip out of bounds.
That was breathtaking. That your top play from Saturday. All right, helmet stickers. 1 minute left in the program. Joey, fire away.
Michigan defense. They rebounded after Wisconsin Coming to Iowa game, they got 8 sacks, held Iowa to 1 yard rushing.
History was made today. Samuel Cosme, a 6'7", 300-pound offensive lineman from Texas, had a 12-yard touchdown run against West Virginia, the first Big 12 O-lineman to ever accomplish that.
David Reese, Florida Gators, 13 tackles, led the team. Gators defense forced 6 3 and out in 4 Auburn turnovers. Big one for the Gators and Reese.
Jimmy Robinson, Bethune-Cookman as they defeated, where's my helmet?
There it is.
They defeated Morgan State. He had 5 catches, 136 yards, 3 touchdowns. One of those touchdowns, 70 yards.
We are sharing a helmet today. Jack Cook, quarterback. This is also Dayton's helmet, by the way. They beat Jacksonville today. But Jack Cook, school record, 6 TD passes. We like records.
Jet Duffy, the first Texas Tech quarterback to account for 5 touchdowns and no interceptions thrown in a conference game since Patrick Mahomes.
He was pretty good.
Jet Duffy, the helmet sticker. For half the day, he was Jeff, but no one needs to know about that. Jesse, Joey, and Matt.